last time about 2 weeks ago, how many people were here? How many people were not here when we did first Namuthunam? It's almost in half the class. So what I'll probably do then, I'll do a quick recap of the first few slides which we did, and then carry on from where we stopped. So. The general slides now the presentations, then the email is scvplondon@gmail.com. If you send us an email, then we can send you all the different presentations which we have done since the beginning of term. So Namuthunam, as you can see, there are going to be 10 verses, Namuthunama, and in these 10 verses, what the objective of these 10 verses is that we'll be going on a word-to-word basis to understand the prayer, Namuthunam. Now, this sutra is also known as the Shakra Stava, and in this, what you have to imagine is, if you have an important personality, a president or some film star, can you imagine what we feel, what kind of preparations would be done here? And even if you meet an important personality, how do we feel? Oh, I'm going to be meeting Narendra Modi, Prime Minister. Keeping that at the back of your mind, you have to imagine that Devlokma Indra Maharaj is here, and all the devas have got immense power. So there are different kinds of heavens, first heaven, second heaven, third heaven. But the heavens na leaders in Indra kehvaya. So same hierarchy is here. So from our point of view, even the lowest of lowest Indra would have immense power. So you have to now imagine or conceptualize what kind of power the Indra Maharaj is having. Phenomenal amount of power, Badritna luxuries, and lots of people at his attendance. With this image, so Indra is sitting on his throne, and suddenly Indra's throne starts shaking. Now, when the throne starts shaking, then Indra Maharaj wonders, what's making my throne shake? This can never happen. There is no earthquake. There is no other dev who has got enough power to shake my throne. So what is happening? So then what he does is he uses this special kind of knowledge, they utilize it. Then after multiplication, what is 27 times 11? Your mind is now going to start running. What's the answer to this problem? The same way, Indra Maharaj is now thinking, what's making my throne shake? And then he realizes on earth, Tirthankar Janma thyo che. Janma thyo che, that's on that kind of, with that Janma hisabe, my throne is actually shaking. And then what he does is, he actually gets up. Can you imagine that Prime Minister Ubha thya, Betha, that kind of importance. So people are getting wondered, Indra Maharaj Ubha thya? What's making Indra Maharaj get up from his throne? Indra Maharaj Ubha thya, he's then kneeling down with his left leg up. In this, facing the direction of earth, he is reciting the Namuthunam Sutra. So with this, you can imagine, and that's why when we do the prayers, it's actually the left leg which is up. But when we do the Pratikaman, when Namuthunam comes, we actually have that left leg up and right leg down. So that's a pose which we are trying to emulate like the Indra Maharaj. So the prayer begins with Namuthunam and ends with Vandami, and in between, Akka Namuthunam are there about 35 attributes of Bhagwan which are going to be listed. Now, I mentioned we recite Namuthunam during Pratikaman. Also, quite commonly, Namuthunam is actually recited when people, so many Svetambar Jehoy, when they go to the Derasar, they recite Namuthunam in the sequence of Chaityamandan. So there are all these different prayers which are recited, and then what happens is Jankinchi ave, the Jankinchi pachi Namuthunam ave, and then Javanti Chei ave. If you also think about it, the placement of the prayer is also very important. Jankinchi Sutra is it's only 2 lines, and it says, Jya jya Bhagwanni temples che, tya tya badhanu vandan karu chu. Pachi Namuthunam ave che, and then again comes Javanti Chei. Once again saying, wherever there are temples, not only in this earth, but in any universe, Devlokma hoy, gamme tya pan Bhagwanni murti hoy, tya pan hoy, badhane vandan karu chu. So what that means is, when you first meet someone, if you have got a lot of good qualities of a person, so you say, ane mare bharvu chhe. So you get acquaintance. But you spend some time with that person, oh wow, I was really impressed meeting this person and what amazing qualities it is. Then there's attraction. And after that there's adoration. So the same thing. Jankinchima, you just get to know Bhagwan. Namuttranama તમે બધી qualities decide કરો છો કે આ કે બધી qualities છે ભગવાનની, and then you get so deeply in love with your Lord, and then it's an adoration. So even the sequence of the prayers are also quite important. Now, Namuttranam starts with, Namuttranam means namaskar, vandan. Now, when you go to a garden, when you see a bed of roses, a lot of different things happens. It's the beauty, you like the color, it is just appeasing. You cannot quantify a single thing why someone likes going to a park or to a garden. Similarly, Namuttranam, just in that single word, will describe a single word ma ekta bada bhav bharela chhe Namuttranam ma, khali just in the just single word of Namuttranam. Now, I want to do the experiment here. For some people new came, we did an experiment to do this, but I'll describe the experiment. What we did was, we had Anup and Kamini standing in front of here. And I asked Anup, would you agree that Kamini is Anup's wife? And we asked Anup, do you believe that Kamini has got a lot of good virtues? So Anup agreed. Yes, Kamini definitely has got a lot of virtues. Then we asked Anup, do you think she's worthy of adoration? So yes, she's worthy of adoration. He agreed with that. But the third thing we asked him was, if she's worthy of adoration, to tu ene namaskar to ene page rak ke nahi. And there was hesitation. He could not, in a sasa betha tha ya, so he had a lot of hesitation. How can I bow down to Kamini in front of everyone? Although she's got a lot of good qualities, but he was hesitating. Then what we had to do, we had to get a martial expert. We had to get Chirag here and forcibly hold his neck and make him bow down to Kamini. The point is, આપણે નમસ્કાર કરવાનો હોય છે, sometimes it is done with duress. The whole essence of Namuttranam is કે મારે નમન કરવું નથી પડતું, નમસ્કાર મારો થઈ જાય છે. And that is really the importance of the Namuttranam. And let me give you another example. If you are driving, suddenly તમારે bright sunshine તમારા windscreen ની સામે આવે. You don't have to think twice, but your eyes just close, or you have to put a visor. It's an automatic. આપણે રૂમમાં બેઠા છે, suppose suddenly a dog, કૂતરો આવી, and a very Alsatian dog comes here, our heartbeats will automatically start beating faster because it's that fight to flight, or so we have to run. So same with Namuttranam, કે નમુત્તરણમાં આપણે ભગવાનને કોઈ ફોર્સ કરતું, મારે નમન નથી મારે કરવું નથી, નમન થઈ જ જાય છે. It's an automatic process કે અહીંયા કોઈ મારા ભગવાન છે, હું મૂર્તિ જો, if I say Guru Maharaj, automatically મારો નમસ્કાર થઈ જાય છે. And so that's really the essence of Namuttranam. It's not a forced process, it's an automatic process. You understood the qualities of that person, the Bhagwan, the Guru Maharajas, and the namaskar happens. And the same thing with river. This is Kishore Bhai's favorite place, Madeira. If you look at, there are so many waterfalls around here. River Jeche, it starts off in high mountains. It goes through so many different places. But the ocean is the mighty ocean, still and calm. And the river then merges into the ocean. Naman Kareche. It starts in the highlands. The river can say, oh, you know what? My origination is right up high in the mountains. The sea is so low down there. Doesn't matter. But the sea is the mighty ocean. And even the rivers has to bow down and get to the oceans. So, Namuttranam, the essence is humility, Vinay. And with the Vinay, our ego goes away. Okay, Marathi, but there is someone who is more superior than I am. Someone who has got better qualities than what I have got. Vinay leads to Vijay. And Vijay means victory. Now, Namuttranama, the other thing is Namu. So there is also Mo. So, after Mo, Maya, Mat, Tyag, all these things are being destroyed. Now, let's look at Namaskar in Navkar Mantra Namo Arihantanam. So, in the 68 letters of Navkar Mantra, Namo appears 10 times. Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayaryanam, Namo Vajjanam, Namo Loisamsavanam. Now, when we say Namo, in English it's N-A-M-O, but in Gujarati it's Na-mo. So it's twice. So 2 times 5 is 10. Now, when I did this lecture 2 weeks ago, that's why we say that the Namo appears about 15% in the Nokar mantra. But when I'm thinking further, when I was after the presentation I did 2 weeks ago, I was thinking it's not even true, it's actually twice that. Because after this, Namo Arihanta Nam. Namo Siddha Nam. So it's actually happening twice. Ayariya Nam. Uvajjaya Nam. So actually the Namaskar is not happening 10 times but happening 20 times. So therefore 1/3 of the Nokar mantra is actually just Namo, Namaskar. Can you imagine just the Namaskar is such an important part of the whole Nokar mantra? Because the Naman is happening 1/3, as you can see, it's about 1/3. So what is happening is that આપણે ભગવાનની qualities આપણે બોલવી છે એની પહેલા it's like a surgery. Before the surgery, the sugar levels have to be appropriate. Doctor પાસે જાવ તો. So in the same way, to recite the virtues of the Lord, our ego levels have to be appropriate. We cannot go with a high mighty horse before the Lord. So Namaskar is very important. Whether it's the Lord, whether it's Guru Maharaj, the Namaskar it's of prime importance. And just to show that આપણે just Namutram first word માં કેટલું બધું you can talk about Namaskar. Just in that single word of Namutram. Namutram is again, you can describe it like a password. All internet accounts require password. The password for Lord's virtues is Namo. In India, there is a password, Namo, Narendra Modi. So, but that's a different one. That's a different one, Namo. Just as a gravitational force pulls everything down, similarly, ego pulls the soul down. So, ego is very, very man, krodh, man, maya, lord. So, that really pulls the soul very much down. So, you need the feeling of emptiness before adoring the Lord. Usao is rock bottom there. So, Namutram, again, you can describe it like this. If you telephone, the dialing code for all cities begins with 0. If you dialing codes, it all starts with 0. So, in the same thing, zeroness and emptiness is needed before we praise to the Lord. So, we need to make ourselves 0. It's a basic denominator that we need to make ourselves totally devoid of ego before we start describing the virtues of the Lord. And આપણે ભગવાનના virtues આપણે બોલીએ છીએ with the view that we want to inculcate those same virtues ourselves. Now, Namutram is very important. Even Dr. Saheja ji amna આવ્યા હતા, she was saying કે આપણે okay, like this is a car, which some of you recognize it's Aston Martin, but this is a palatial house. This is sort of diamond or golden set. This in itself are just attributes. So what? So, but now, which letter would you add to this, which would make a lot of significance? My. If you say it's my car, if you say my palatial house, or this, that mine is just 2 letters, but changes the whole perception. It changes it for yourself and for others. You start feeling, oh wow, I've got a lot of wealth, I've got a lot of these things. And to others, perception changes. Oh, amni paase to aapni gaadi chhe. So that changes, the 2 letters changes everything. આપણે ભગવાનના qualities ગાય, આપણે બોલે કે ભગવાન તમે આવા છો. Those are like just attributes, like saying car, book. What difference does it make to Lord? But how do we link? How does our karma get wiped out by praising the Lord? If you just recite, those are just nouns or adjectives. So that in itself has got no meaning. It doesn't do anything. It's just pure academic. But apna karma kena kapai when we start saying Namutram. So the Namaskar is the one which links us to the prayer. So the Namo is the one which is identifying you, yourself, who Naman karu chu. Tamne karu chu because I want to imbibe those qualities which you have into myself. So the link to the prayers is this. So in the Nokar mantra, Namo is the link. Because Arihant is an object. Siddh is an object. So Bhagavan Siddh ma che. Acharya is an object. There could be an Acharya. So what? But to link yourselves to that prayer is I am bowing down to the Arihants. I am bowing down to the Siddhs. So that Namaskar, Namo, is the one which links you to the prayer. The other thing to know is that the difference is very important here. The difference between we have now moved from Namutram, now we're going to the next one, which is Arihantanam. So that's the second word, Namutram Arihantanam. This is the second word of that prayer. Now, who is Arihant? So the difference between aham means ego. Apne namaskar sena mate kare to first to remove the ego. And the difference between aham and arham is that R. As you can see, aham and araham. And R in the mantra, in the science of mantras, is known as the beach mantra for fire. So, and what that means is that R is the one which destroys the aham. Je apne ego ne destroy kare, to phir tame arham bani sako. What this picture is trying to depict here is that this is a big marble stone, and here we have got a sculptor with his skill is making a murti of Simandar Swami. So the image is already there. Divinity, the good qualities are already within us. It's already there within the Bhagwan. Then, through the right process, you erode away your karmas, you erode away all your negatives, you will then become full. Apna badama change. All this potential was there in the Bhagwan, it's there with us. It's all there, the purity. We just have to carve out. And that's the process of the sadhana, of carving out, and then we can all become like Arham. So, Namuttaram Arihantana. I'm bound to Arihants, I want to become like you. Now, Arihantanam, the root of the word Arihant means if you want to win the war, you lose the battle. The cycle of samsara. Arihants are leaders. They are the ones who have destroyed the karmas, and they are our Tirthankars. Han means to destroy, and destroy means to destroy your inner enemies, kashais, all the negativities. And also grammatically, Arihantanam is a plural word. What that means is, Arihant is not a single person. Arihant means Arihants of the past, Arihants of the present, and Arihants of the future. So that means Arihantanam is a very generic term. We are bowing down to all the Arihants of the past, the present, and the future. Who are Arihants? They are the people who were ragi like us. They had defects like us, and they have now become vitragi. They've got, and what vitragi means, they've got no likes and dislikes. They've moved from an Atma to a Paramatma. From a Danav to a Dev, and from Dev to Devadidev. Now, what we said is the Arihantanams, they destroy the internal enemies. As you can see, there are quite a few enemies which they've destroyed, and once, when I give you the presentation, then you can read through some of what are the kind of enemies which they have destroyed. Now, can you imagine, it's simple, but the essence is that interest you can learn more and more and more. So just for Arihantanam, you can now see that they have got about so many different qualities. And there's so much material available, it's mind-boggling. It's almost like someone studying, becoming a doctor. I become an MBBS, but you don't stop there. You can become an MD. You can even go further and further. So the level of knowledge for a human body does not stop at a superficial level. Someone can go deep and deep, and to the point there could be a consultant who is just focusing on a small part of your body. Someone has become a specialist. So the same thing with Arihantanam. Arihantanam Arihantanam has qualities. You can go in deeper and deeper and deeper just into knowing what Arihantanam, who is Arihant, what are the qualities. So different pads have got different qualities. Arihants have got 12 qualities, Siddhs have got 8 qualities. So what are the 12 qualities of Arihants? So you can see what so you see, this is just cultivating more and more interest of kon apna Arihant Bhagwan kon che apna. Apne Arihant Bhagwan ni speech na 35 qualities che. There Arihant Bhagwan jare bolta hoy, that animals can even understand what they are speaking. They speak in such sweet language. So there are all these different kinds of qualities when our Arihant Bhagwans are speaking in jare loka samosaran thei gyo hoy, to bole ina judi jatni loka na qualities che of Arihant ni speech. So that was Arihantanam. So we said Namo Thunam Arihantanam Bhagwantanam. Now Bhagwan. So what does the word Bhagwan mean? And when you think about these things, one of the beauty about Jainism is there is not a single answer to this. When you think and when you contemplate, you can come up with so many different meanings. Bhagwantan. So there is not a single, you can't say, oh, Bhagwantan no meaning athyo. There are lots of different meanings you can attribute to this word here. So one of the meanings is Bhag. So Bhagwantanam. And Bhag means Ashwarya, means wealth or prosperity. So someone who has actually attained the prosperity. Bhagwans have destroyed all their karmas and they are now in the moksha, Siddhashilama. So they've got the ultimate prosperity. So one who has achieved Bhag, who has achieved the wealth and the prosperity is a Bhagwan. Now the other word is Bhai. Bhagwantanam. So you can even bring the word as Bhai. And someone who has Bhagwant, Ant means end. So someone who has actually ended Bhai, someone who has ended the fear of cycle of birth and death. the fear of all the fears have been ended. Bhagwan has got no fears. બીજો એનો મીનિંગ થઈ શકે ભવનો અંત. So ભયનો અંત થયો અને ભવનો પણ અંત થયો, ભવ. And bhav means that cycle of birth and death. That's bhav. Other thing is bhaj. So just khali bhagavantana there are so many different roots you can say. Bhaj, to adore or to honor. Wikipedia gives the definition, Sanskrit definition, saying someone who is possessing fortune or prosperity. Another definition of bhagavantanam is, you can break the word bhagavantanam. Bha, ga, va, a, na. So what does that mean? Bha means bhumi. Pachi ga, gagan means sky. Va, vayu. આપણે કહીએ વાયુ એટલે એર, આપણે ઘણી વાર વાવાઝોડું આવ્યું, વરસાદ આવ્યો. So the va is the root for wind. Agni, આપણે કહીએ ભગવંતાણમ, the a is extended, so Agni is then na is near. So all the elements of nature comes into this word Bhagwan. Now, so what's the importance of Bhagwan? So someone who is actually on earth, we can impress others through speech, through looks, but Bhagavantanam is like, the word is Ant, it's got infinite. Anant, Bhagwan Anant છે. આપણામાં છે ઓ મારી પાસે આ સારી ક્વોલિટી છે, તમારા પાસે આ સારી ક્વોલિટી છે. But Bhagwan is a person who has got Anant. They've got infinite qualities of all the positive things. So infinite knowledge, infinite beauty, infinite punya, infinite energy. So that's what they've got Anant, the infinite of everything. They're the best of best. So the next word is Namutthanam, Arihantanam, Bhagantanam, Aigranam. So what does the word Aigranam mean? Aigranam, I means for Adi. Adi means to start. After Rushabdev Bhagwan, Biju Naam se Adinath Bhagwan. So he's the one who started many things. Asi, Masi, Krishi, agriculture, weapons, how to make utensils. So he's the one who started many things. So Aigranam means you are the person who has started the philosophy, the faith. And you are the ones who have endowed us with the scriptural knowledge. So Aigrana means we are giving. So that's a quality of the Tirthankar Bhagwan. Aigrana. This is George Bernard Shaw, and he says in Jainism, God is never a monopoly game. Gods in Jainism show you by way of scriptures how to become like them. This is very important. After the scriptures, we do not believe that there is an all-powerful God. That there is some powerful God who is controlling our destiny. And therefore, what they say is, our Tirthankas have become pure, they're going to moksha, and what they achieved, they are willing to bestow onto you. You can get to the same place as what they have achieved. And that's a beauty for our words. There's no monopoly because I have achieved, why should someone else achieve this? There's no selfishness in this. Whatever I have achieved, whatever beauty I am experiencing, I want everyone to experience that. So this is a sort of a nice way to think of a prayer. Your past is my present. Bhagwan nu je past hatu, because Bhagwan before he became a Bhagwan, he was like someone like us. So Bhagwan's past is our present. And I pray that your present becomes my future. So you can actually see that three past tense, the timeline of past, present, future is here linking that to God. So now we look at the next word. Namutthanam, Arihantanam, Bhagantanam, Aigranam, Tithayaranam. So if you look at on the top, I've always given what does the word mean. Tithayaranam means Tirthankars. What does Tirthankars mean? One of the most common definition of Tirthankars is fort makers. Or the people, it's like a bridge. You're on one side of the river bank and you want to go to the other side, and they are the people who can help you to cross the bridge. So Tirthankar, what does that mean? We are in this ocean of birth and death. So we want someone who can make us cross from here into the Siddhashila. So that's one part. Tirthankar meaning that they are the people who established the four tirths. The sadhu, sadhvi, shravak, shravika. So they are the ones who have established the tirth. Now, what's very important about Tirthankar is this. There could be someone who could be a self-realized soul. Okay, they've removed the karmas and they've gone into moksha. So that's a self-realized person. Then there are others who are known as Ganadhars. They are the people who have become disciples of the Lord. They became acharyas, they became gurus. They removed their karmas and then they showed us the path. And finally, we have got the Tirthankars. The Tirthankars are, they have got universal welfare. So what distinguishes Tirthankars compared to Gautam Swami, he was a guru. He was not a Tirthankar, Gautam Swami. The Tirthankar was just Mahavir Swami and Chovis Tirthankar. And what's really a special quality of them is that they had universal welfare at the back of their mind. They cared for every single soul. And that's what makes them very unique. And they then became the leaders of our Jain religion. Now, whenever what our Tirthankars told us in the past, how is it relevant today? How do I know Tirthankars hata ke nata? And what we really need to do is, let's look at the example of Bhopal. Bhopal, when there was the leak, that was happening in the past, but the effects of Bhopal are happening even now. So many kids are being born with deformities. So you can see that even after the event has passed, the effect can carry on. And so similarly, even the Tirthankars have gone away, but their effect, the effect of the power, the agam japapi gache, the words and the wisdom, their effect is still carrying on. But the next word is Swayam Sambuddhanam. Now, let's look at this. Swayam, Swa. So the word is Swa. Swa means self. And we can say again, Swa means Swarup. How do I look? Or Swarthi means he's selfish. So all that Swa means to do with yourself. Self. And Sambud, Sam means what? Samyak Nan, Samyak Darshan, Samyak Charitra. So Sam means right. And Bud means Buddhi, intellect. So someone who has managed to get the right intellect by himself. So Tirthankars, they didn't have any teachers for themselves. They are self-realized souls. Bhagwan Mahavirata, what is the purpose of life? So they are the ones who went out to the forest, they contemplated, and then they gave the message to us. So they are self-realized people. We go to Guru Maharajis, they give us directions. But Swayam Sambuddhana means they were self-awakened people. And they've done the process of the sadhana by themselves. In Ajaran Sutra, it says Asutta Muni, Sutta Amuni. So someone who is vigilant or alert or not sleeping is a Muni, and someone who is non-vigilant or careless or sleeping is not a Muni. So sleeping here does not refer to someone like what we say, but it refers to inner discrimination. So in this, there was no one instrumentally motivating the Lord to take Diksha or follow the path of self-realization. They achieved it by themselves. They realized what's the purpose of this. And so it was the inner voice, the inner conviction. So that's another quality of the Bhagavans. Swayam Sambuddhanam. And one of the other beauties of these prayers is, you can almost decode the prayers by yourself. So Swayam Sambuddhanam. So as you go along, you'll realize that with a little bit of your knowledge, you can actually start decoding the prayers and understanding better. Let me give you a small example of what is Sambuddhanam. There was once an angry king, and he actually banished all the prisoners to the forest. And in the middle, with all the wild animals, he left them there. He let them die a very tragic death. Now, amongst all those prisoners, there was someone who was like a mason. And what he said, handcuffs, why don't I do this? Why don't I go towards a stone? And why don't I then start rubbing it against the stone? And this, my shackles I'll free myself up. So what happens is, the example there is that when he got himself free, he then freed all his other prisoners. So the analogy, what I'm trying to show in this slide here is, the person who knew how to do this is our Tirthankar. They are the ones who realized and understood how to break the karmas. Perfect they are the ones who are preaching to us, not before then. So they achieved it, they destroyed their karmas, and then they were there, they got Kevalkan, and then they presented to us scriptures and agams and like. So that's Swayam Sambuddhanam. So someone who does it by himself and then preaches to others. So now we are coming to the next one, is Purisutta Manam. So Purus is, as we can say, humans. And in Jainism, as we say, there is no kind of sexism here. So So Purus is a very generic term. And last time, I think when I was saying, we sometimes very often see our teenagers go in, so you look at hey guys, let's go out. Now guys, we used to mean for boys. But now, guys means even girls. If there's a group of girls, they'll still say, hey guys, let's go out. So same way, so guys is now referring to a group of any group of people. Same way, Purus is a generic name for humans. So Puris Uttamanam. So Purus Mati Uttam. Uttam means the best. So you are the best amongst the men. And the beauty about our Tirthankars are, આપણે ભગવાનને જોઈએ તો તેને આપણે મૂર્તિ જોઈએ ઓહો ભગવાન તમારી મૂર્તિ કેટલી સાઈઝ છે તમે કેવા છો but any અંદર કેટલું deep છે that you don't know. And that's one of the essence of coming to classes like here, that you really understand the deeper meanings. We believe in God. આપણે તીર્થંકર છે પણ કેટલું ડેપ્થ છે આપણા આચરણ સૂત્રમાં તીર્થંકર્સ have propounded કે there are different forms of life beings. Earth, air, fire. So when you understand our scriptures and going much more depth, that's you understand why do you say Purisuttamanam. It's not, when you tell someone Uttam Cho, there has to be reason, otherwise it's kind of empty words. So you have to have the conviction to say, why is this person the best amongst best? And this is also quite common in our society here. Like even if you go to the States, the general tendency in America is this is the tallest building, this is the biggest bridge, this is the biggest shopping mall. Or even my father is the best, my mother is the best. So we humans always like to compare, and therefore even in the Lord, you are the best amongst everything. Here are outlined some of the qualities why our Tirthankars are considered to be Uttam, the best. And one of the main things is they've got universal welfare at the back of their mind. And then we can just read through some of the other ones. Purisa Sihanam. So Purus against. So you are lions amongst the men. Now this is a very pictorial. Why has our God been compared to a lion? The first thing is, as we all know, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So that's very important to know. Just to have the analogy of our God compared to a lion, we can now see that our Tirthankar must be brave. So that's one image which comes to mind. Lion is known as the king of the jungle. So same, our Tirthankar, they got no fear. They went out. They left all their palatial luxuries and they went out in search of truth. Lion is never afraid of anything. He's the king of the jungle. Same thing, our lords were not afraid of any calamities. Jungle ma je pan thai. I'm willing to bear all problems which come across me. Now there's another reason why our God has been compared to a lion. Let's see, why has our God not been compared to a dog? Apni પાસે હાથમાં stick હોય, stick. Now આપણે જે કૂતરા સામે ફેંકી, if you throw it to a dog, what will that dog do? Will try to go and catch the stick. You put the same stick and you throw that to a lion. What will the lion do? Will the lion go after the stick or will the lion go after you? So the lion will go after you. So what the Tirthankar is, Kutra you can sticks passed. The Bhagwan they went after the root cause. They didn't go for the small petty things here. They went after the root cause. The root cause was, our problems karma. I'm the person who created the karmas. I'm going to go and destroy my own karmas. Nothing doing. It's me. I've done this. I'll bear it myself. So they are the lions. They don't go for petty things like sticks. They go for the root cause. Purisavara Pundariyanam. So Purus means again amongst men, and Pundarik means lotus. Now, lotus is a very, very important flower in Jain philosophy and even in the Buddhist philosophy. A lot of comparisons are done with the lotus. And the beauty of the lotus is that the lotus is actually in muddy waters. And yet, the lotus never gets stained. And the reason is because there's a layer of oil. In a petals there's a layer of oil, so therefore the lotus never becomes wet. The water will just sort of seep away. The water will not stay on the lotus. And the analogy in our life is, we are in the midst of lots of problems. And yet, through nature, through religion and everything, we want to purify ourselves. So we want to become like lotuses. There's ganki everywhere around. But there's ganki here. Problems, diseases, but within that, I want to purify myself and become a pure like a flower. And the other analogy to that is, when there's a cricket game running, IPL, there are people who are very much involved, in the game. I support I support. But the umpire, what does he do? He's neutral. Does he care? Do you actually ever see him on the cricket pitch saying, oh yes, great, 96 mile, he's a neutral person on the playing field. And so therefore, when we say Pundariyana, that's how we want to lead our life. You're just, balance. Amene, no ragne, hatred ne. And so that's the balance is kind of one to it's like a comparison. You want to become like that Pundarik flower, you have to maintain the equanimity, samta bhav. It's just like that. Purisavara gandha hathinam. So have so keche have gandha hathinam. Hathi. Ke ne gandha એટલે elephant who actually is sort of got a very good odor. Gandha hathinam. There is a Hindi proverb, Hathi chale bazar, kutte bhoke hazar. Now, this is quite common. I mean, when I actually go to my in-laws, which they don't stay in Bombay, but in sort of in small parts of India, there is Ganivatya, you can see actually elephants going in the village markets. Elephant there jato hoy, it's a very graceful. They go in the market. The kutra hoy, ये बता market में भस्ता होय, बहुत पत्ता होय. So a small animal just constantly barking, whereas an elephant, graceful, majestic, and then just walking through the village market. So our lords have been compared to you are like the herd of the elephants, mighty, majestic. There again, elephants have also got this organizing. There's a head elephant, and then they've also got there's a herd, family. Same thing. You are the head, and then you created the sun for us. So Purisvar Gandha Hathinam. And Hathi is also very important. Hathini pole. There is actually a gate which is in dedication to elephants, Hathini pole. And because many of our temples, especially like Palitana or Girnar, in the ancient times were built through the efforts of the elephant. The logs and stones, they were carried on by the elephants. So elephants are supposed to be considered to be very, even after Swaminarayan Mandir Digital Majo, to all the bronze sculptors about the elephants are sculptors, Swaminarayan Mandir Digital. Just to give, they are hard-working animals. Akku shoulder, that means they can bear everything on themselves. So by comparing our lords to elephant, to hathi, we have to now start looking at the qualities which these animals possess, and then see why they will compare. હવે આપણે શું કર્યું આટલી બધી વાર આપણે પુરુષ હતું it was એકદમ પુરુષ સિંહાણમ પુરુષ પુંડરીયાણમ so all the thing was purush. Now let's see how does a prayer change. Now the focus changes from purush and goes to lok. You are not the best amongst the humans, you are not the best amongst the whole universe. A human is just a small part. If you look at the Jain cosmology, we are just in the middle part of the earth. But the universe is there. After niche dharat che, upar heavens che, akha kita bhagwan ke tame tran lok na nacho. You are the leader of the three lok, the three worlds, the hells, the middle region, and the heavens. So now let's look at how the prayer changes. Lokuttamanam. Pehla suatu Purisuttamanam. So now it's going from Purush to Lok. You are not the best amongst the Purush, you are now the best in the entire universe. When we have people on earth, people can have different spectrum. Personalities wise. You can have some people who are extremely wild. Recently, if you look at what's happening in Syria, you can't even read the atrocities which the ISIS are committing. You can't even read them in the newspapers. Okay? After humans doing some kind of atrocities to another fellow humans, not even doing it, but you can't even read the newspapers. You just have to follow it because you can't bear to see the pain. So you can have the extreme people on the extreme. Imagine basically you're in a hellish thing. But on earth, to have people who are such sort of barbaric activities is just unthinkable. Then you've got some people who are miscreants, calculative. Then there are admirable people who do donations. Then you've got absolute gems. There's a lot of different personalities between humans. But now we are saying, Bhagavan, you are the Loguttamana. You cannot be compared to anyone in this verse. Even our Acharya Samay, you are the best. So, who are your favorite personalities? And a lot of people will come up, oh yeah, more people have, sort of people, wealthy people, stars, cricket stars, or you can have spiritual guides. And therefore, what we are trying to do is balance the seesaw towards more emphasis towards here and less towards this. Traditionally, kids, they have these people as their idols. He's my idol, I would like to become like him. But slowly, we are now to focus our change to become like here, and then Loguttamana, like our Tirthankars. Loganahanam. Here the key word is Nath. What does Nath mean? Leader. So, you are the leader of the entire three worlds. Akka tame Nath cho. Now, this is a very interesting story, which I am not going to go through here, which is the Shalibhadrani story. In Shalibhadra, because of the punya he accrued in his previous life, in his current life, he had immense wealth coming to him. And father Devlokmati used to send him containers and containers of gold. To that extent that when some people came from Nepal to sell some very, very rich blankets, even the king could not purchase it, and Shalibhadra actually could purchase this. And then what happened, the king inquired, okay, who is this person in my kingdom who can actually afford to buy such precious items which even I can't afford to buy for my own queen? And what Shalibhadra's mother used to do is she used to keep him inside the palatial house. Let him, because he bari jase to kadach sadhu bani jai to, because his father had become a sadhu. So to prevent that, he says, let him just enjoy the lap of luxuries, so he'll never think about giving this up. So the moment when the Raja, the king, came and wanted to find out, Shalibhadra kon che, now the mother was in a bit of a dilemma. Shalibhadra did not even know that there was a king in his kingdom. He thought that he was the ultimate person, full of luxuries. તો એના સનને બોલાવવા દે, શાલીપુત્ર તું નીચે આવ. કે કેમ? તો કે આપણા અહીંયા રાજા આવ્યા છે. કે રાજા? એટલે કે હા, આપણા દેશના રાજા છે. And that's when he got a shock. કે I thought I was the ultimate person. મારા ઉપર who can be more superior than I am? કે મારી પાસે is there a person who is above my head? Raja? And that leader, oh, there is a person above my head, that triggered it off. This cannot be possible. I want to give everything up. And that's the time when he came down, so that became the trigger point for him to say, jo mari upar jo koi nath hoy to mana kai jotu nathi. All this wealth is useless. I want to take diksha, and I want to become a master of myself. I want to have no one. I cannot bear to have a king above me. So that nath is very important. That's the story of the leader. So hey Bhagwan, ki tame mara nath cho, you are the leader. Now the next one is loga hi anam. So what's the key word here? He. And he comes from hit. And what does hit mean? Okay, someone, hit no meaning che, who is a benefactor. But Bhagwan je che, ke apna Tirthankar, they have got feelings not only for our family che, or our Guru Gautam, he is my disciple, ina mate che. Our Tirthankars have benevolence for all life forms. Right from the microscopic beings to the ultimate five sense beings. In fact, there is a story. Did Bhagwan Mahavir ever cry in his life? In his life, as a Tirthankar, when he was on earth, did he ever cry? And the answer to that is, he only cried once in his life. Once and only once. And that was when Sangam Dev, for 6 months, was torturing him. And after 6 months of torture, the Dev actually got tired and said, I just cannot give him enough torture. This person is very eponymous. When torture he is actually just being so calm and composed, and he is now going back to his Devlok. And Bhagwan Mahavir આત્માથી આંસુ આવે છે, કારણ એટલા બધા કર્મ બાંધ્યા છે કે ત્યારે Devlokમાં જશે એને ઇન્દ્રમાનવ શું કરશે? Because he will get punished. Why did you do such a thing for? Why did you? Bhagwan Mahavir છે મને તો affect not you, but because of his deeds, he is now going to bear the karmas for what he has done. And out of compassion, Bhagwan Mahavir is now feeling sorry for him. And આત્માથી આંસુ આવી જાય છે કે આનું થશે શું? કે આટલો સમજતો નથી કે એમાં. So you could see કે just enemies છે એને આટલો હેરાન કરે છે 6 મહિના સુધી, એના માટે પણ ભગવાન માવીને એને આત્માથી આંસુ આવે છે. Not when his parents died, not when anything happened, but our soul mate, and that's the only time when he's actually getting tears. So to get hit kere like the precursor to hit is samyak darshan. Samyak darshan means the right feeling. Hu atma chu, tame atma chu, and badha pase atma che. So that fundamental which we call as the samyak darshan, that simple belief, I am a soul, you are a soul, and all these life forms in everything, air, water, everything. So that's the starting point. And then when that expands and further, that becomes like hit. Now we start feeling for everyone. Loga pai vana. Pai etle prakash. Pradeep means blue. Now, sometimes we feel, okay, what if there was no sun, water, air, fire? We can perhaps still survive. But this is that feeling which comes in, hey Bhagwan, tame prakash na karo. If you had not given us the scriptures, all these burning questions are there. And we've been going through all this for trying to memorial. Who am I? Where have I come from? What is after this? And so all these things, public curiosity is unsatiated. And that's for centuries. If you look at Aristotle and everything, even the Western philosophers, people have not rested. They want to find out, who am I? Where have I come from? And this is where we get our satisfaction. Here, Bhagwan, tamara prakash ni hisab hai, I have now managed to get to know what the truth and the reality is. So as we can say, God's website is www.kevaljanam.com. It's not a true website, but just to know, Bhagwan che, it's got all the answers can be found here. So that's what we say, prakash. Log pajogaranam. I think after this I'll probably stop. So pajogaranam. That means you are the ones who are actually illuminators in the whole universe. Now, what's happening now is that we are living in a day of, in the age of information overload. There's so much information around us. Data overload, information overload. When you go to offices and meetings, they do all these mind maps. Why is this problem occurred? Because of this, because of this. There's just so much things going on around here. Now, Narendra Modi has actually got one formula. IT plus IT is equal to IT. Anyone know what that means? So, Narendra Modi's formula is IT means information technology plus Indian talent is equal to India tomorrow. So, now let's see why is it applicable to our slide here. So, what does it say? Okay, information technology plus Indian talent is equal to India tomorrow. હવે આપણા ભગવાન જે છે what they have done is કે જ્યારે ગુરુ ગૌતમ સ્વામી હતા ઈ જ્યારે એને ખાલી ત્રણ વર્ડ્સ આપ્યા હતા ઉપનેયવા વિજ્ઞેયવા ને ધુયેવા on just on those three words did the Ganadhars create all the agams. All the agams were based on these three words. And sometimes you feel, okay, is that really true? And you just have to think, okay, what is knowledge? Ajanko, this is a computer. Then I can say, well, this is not a chair, this is not a book. So you can now say, oh, what is a chair, what is a book? So by knowing, so there is a very common saying in Jain scriptures, if you know one, you know all, if you know all, you know one. Because to know the computer, you have to know, okay, this is not a phone, this is not a this, so it's infinite, you can go, this is a laptop, this is not a chair, this is not a table, so you can go on and on and on and on. Same thing, okay, if Bhagwan Mahavir had told the same three words to us, what would you have done? You would have known nothing. So what is happening? A combination of Bhagwan Mahavir with his infinite, our Bhagwan Mahavir is the information technology. He's got all the knowledge there. Then what's Indian talent? Indian talent is our Ganadhars. With our Ganadhars, so combination of our Ganadhars and our knowledge, we get India tomorrow. We get the scriptures for us from now and for all the future. So that means a combination of Bhagwan Mahavir and Guru Gautam, we've now got the agams, and the agams were useful hundreds of years ago, they're useful now, and those agams are going to be useful for years and for generations to come. So that's kind of the analogy between Narendra Modi, Guru Gautam and Bhagwan Mahavir. This slide is just to show that you can have all different kinds of energy, nuclear energy, wind energy, but the essence of all energy is the solar energy. So sun na hoy, so basically there will be no existence. So the solar energy. So in the same way, you can have so many things. We had just the key thing. Three words upon iPad, we got the full agams just out of those three words. So they were like the essence of everything. Abhay Dayanam. Abhay means fearlessness. Now fears could be of 7 types. We all have fears. We have got fears of ill health, diseases, sickness. There was, in fact, there's a story. There was a king who actually told all his farmers, I want you to feed your goats for a whole month. And after 1 month, I want anyone to come back to me and tell me, which goat no weight weight on. You give him, goats and you feed ghas, give him food constantly for 1 month. And then after 1 month, I want to see any farmer who can come here and say, okay, the weight of my goat did not increase. And eventually, one farmer came back and said, जो बकरी जे छे मैं 1 महीना સુધી રોજ મેને ઘાસ ખવડાવ્યું છે અને weight વધ્યું નથી કેમ because the goat when he kept the goat he kept a stick or a scarecrow now scarecrow લાકડી જેવો he kept that there in front of the goat so the goat was always scared oh હમણાં મને મારશે and because of that fear the weight of the goat did not increase so fear is a very even for us fear it really eats away the core of ourselves now. This is in Maharashtra. I mean, I went to this temple here. In fact, this person is actually blocking the view. But in this is the picture of Bahubali, and you can see the photo that there is actually a cow, and there is actually a cheetah or lion, and they're drinking from the same bowl. There's a bowl of milk, and both this tiger and the cow are drinking milk from the same bowl. So that's what Abhay Dayanam means. Hey, Bhavan, okay, when you are there, even animals can lose their fear. So you are the ones who are destroying, who are imparting the concept of fearlessness. There is just no fear. And how does the Lord make us fearless? Simple concept. If you don't harm others, no powers can harm you. When we went to Virayakan, Acharya Channajiyata, Amar Muni used to quite frequently go to the caves for meditation. There were a lot of wild animals in those caves at that stage. What conviction would those saints have to go into the caves? And there's only one conviction. I am lion or a snake. It's going to hurt me. Otherwise, this lion or this snake, there's no power in the world that snake is going to hurt me or harm me. It is that conviction. If I've not done any harm to them, even if there's a lion or a snake here, they're not going to do any harm to me. So with that conviction, no one has got any power to do any harm to me. And that makes you fearless. I think I'll probably Sandeep carry on or
if you want.
Okay, from that way. Okay. Stop. Finished. Okay.
Sorry. Couple of minutes, that's it.
Okay, fine. Okay, Chakhu Dhyanam. So Chakhu Dhyanam, Chaksu, Chasma. So that means eyes. So really so when you look at the prayers, you can literally see Chaksu, Chasma, So that means it's to be outer vision. Chaksu Dhyanam. So Dhyanam means you give. And what are you giving? You're giving me not eyes to see, these eyes, you're giving me inner discrimination. I can now see what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, how can I improve myself, when you have the Theravada sect, they've got Preksha meditation. So Preksha, Pra, Iksha. So Pra means intent profoundly, and Iksh means to see or to perceive. Not to see, but to perceive. So when you perceive something very profoundly, is known as Preksha. So again, the root of the word is Iksh, and you can see Chakshu, same root words. So what we are trying to say is, and this is our beautiful, I'm sure Sandeep will recognize this, or Muniswarat Swami in Nairobi. Just in itself says so much. And so there is a very good aphorism. Some people see yourself, free yourself. So this is very, when you have someone, you see a lot of the ladies doing the makeups on the train, looking at themselves and doing all these different makeups. So what they're doing is, they're looking at their body. Same. Here you have a person who does not have a mirror, sitting there quietly, but what is he doing? So this person is just focusing the body. Here is an Acharya Maharaj who is focusing or perceiving not only the body but also the soul. So here is a person who is, so that's what the Chakshu Dhyanam says. You have to focus not only the body, and when you do this Praksha meditation, it does not just not mean you go into emptiness. You start focusing on the body. I want to relax my body. So you start off with the body, and then slowly you go towards your soul, so qualities of the soul. So that's what Chakshu Dhyanam means. You want to focus on your inner discrimination. So I think I'll stop at this stage. Jai Jai.